from midnight 6 in the morning.
Good morning. Happy hump day, everybody. It's Wednesday. The middle of the week. For most people, that is. We have back on the stream Mr. Chris Brawley. How you been?
Hey, guys. Glad to be here.
Bald and beautiful.
Sure.
That's right. We also have the Canadian Paul Chateau.
Nice to be here.
Glad to have you here. We also have the one, the only Paulie of the Latino Slant. How you doing, sir?
Could you be the most bald, beautiful man in the world?
Prince is next. You know that.
That's for Chris.
He needs a bio.
Chris is a good-looking man with that bald head. Let's go, Pelon.
Glad to be here.
And if they do it, they have to do the Michael Jackson bit in there.
I want to do bad with you.
Yeah, did you guys know that story? That was originally written as a duet for the two of them? And Prince is like, look, I don't know about this first line, your butt is mine, because I ain't saying that to you.
Who's saying
you sure as
line,
hell
man?
ain't saying that to me. So, and then rumor is that Prince went and redid the song on his own and said, you can use it if you want to, but I think this is better. So he sent it back to him in the mail of his version of bad. So yeah, I wonder what that sounded like. But anyway, we also have Andre here. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Greetings, everyone. Glad to see the Prince and Michael Jackson rivalry get brought back to life after the two men involved are no longer with us.
Yeah, I remember I did a video about the Batman soundtrack they were supposed to work on together before it just became a Prince album too.
Indeed.
But yeah, so good morning, everybody out in the chat. It is Wednesday, as we said. I see D-Buds hanging around there with a wrench. We got Jill Powers, and we got King Kane Rumsky here. We got Barry the Music Man. Speaking of Barry the Music Man and his Kiss, there you go. We got some Kiss news coming up here later you might be interested in. But you might have to wait till a later stream to see what's going on. We were talking to Paulie a little bit about that earlier. But we also have Hyper Guyver and Corleone Rogue. So many regulars. Hit that like button if you haven't already. We even got some folks over on the Rumble side, which is awesome to see. And even on the X.
Us for sing I Want to Rock and Roll All Night. Is that you're going to ask us to do that?
Is that what the movie's going to be called?
With the Kiss movie?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably Kiss.
Rock and Roll All Night is not a horrible title.
I mean, I Want to Rock and Roll All Night. Well, that was their big hit.
Well, Beth was actually their biggest hit, but Beth I think that'd be confusing for a title.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, Rock and Roll All Night's not a bad title, actually.
Yeah, it was one of the big ones.
And Party Every Day.
I want to make love to Sharon Tweed all night.
I mean, I got the unedited footage, so just let me know if you want to watch it.
Oh, well, I was going to tease your show later on because
yeah. Let's do that. Let's just tease it
because it sounds like Paulie got some footage from Mr. Simmons at a premiere.
Yeah,
so
we were at a red carpet. I don't know why they invited us, but we're like, let's do it. And so we got some great sound bites from Gene Simmons, who's the executive producer of this movie called Dead Water. Deep Water. Dead Water. I don't know. Some shark
Deep
movie.
Water.
Deep Water. Yeah. And
from Rennie Harlan, no less.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Jumping back into the shark waters.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like is it completely unrelated, or is it like a kind of sequel to Deep Blue Sea?
I don't think it has anything to do with Deep Blue Sea. The basic plot is Gandhi's flying a plane and he lands in the ocean, and what's his face has to save everybody.
Yeah.
Eckhart. Two-Face.
Ben Kingsley.
Oh, Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, Ben Kingsley's
Kingsley, Eckhart. It's a big cast. Was it?
Was Danny Trejo's in it too, or something like that?
No. Trejo went to the red carpet because he's.
I thought he was in the movie.
He's a friend of Gene Simmons. They're good friends.
Oh, that does not surprise me.
Yeah, and we got some great sound bites from Trejo.
Kiss has a reputation for being one of the kindest bands to up and coming bands, that they included them in their tours.
Yeah, that would be Gene Simmons because he produced half of them.
Well, he didn't produce Rush, and Rush has a lot to thank Kiss for. But I wouldn't be surprised. Sure, I mean that would.
Yeah, but if it wasn't for
Oh.
Gene Simmons, we probably wouldn't have Van Halen and got a half a dozen other bands because, yeah, they were a big part of promoting and pushing bands back in the
They were
70s and 80s.
a very kind group of people. I mean, Gene was quoted as saying he didn't understand Rush because they weren't interested in any of the groupies.
I actually have the demo tape that Gene produced for Van Halen somewhere on a file.
Wow.
It's basically just early versions of all the stuff that wound up on their first album, but
Right.
yeah. But I think Gene's actually playing bass on that or something like that, because I don't know if they had a bassist yet or something like that. That's the whole point of why I have it or something like that, but yeah.
Wow.
This is like a part of a 25 movie deal, I think. Gene Simmons and ArcLight. This is like the first of 25 they're supposed to do over the next 5 years.
Well, Gene's always been interested in film. I mean, he's been an actor since way back when. I mean, he was in that Tom Selleck movie, Runaway.
Yeah, to Paul Stanley's Eternal Annoyance.
Yeah. And he's been in a few other ones too.
There's lots of bands that should have movies. Alice Cooper would be a good biopic.
He just dropped his biography, actually.
I didn't know that.
Perfect.
Hopefully, that's the first stepping stone in getting that movie made. I'd watch the hell out of an Alex Cooper biopic.
That'd be. I saw his very first performance in Toronto.
Wow.
Before they changed musical styles. So they were initially produced by Frank Zappa, and their first album was weird, not very Alice Cooper-y. And I saw their very first performance. It was cool.
I saw him and Dio and who's the third one? Anyway, him and Dio in Norway in the early 2000s. That was glorious.
Yeah,
Did he sing in German?
Alex Cooper? No, he does not.
No, Ronnie James Dio.
No, it was his regular English songs.
English.
Yeah, I think I saw Cooper 3 times.
Wow, I only seen him once.
One during the head chopping tour. I can't remember what that album was where he got his head chopped off on the guillotine. So I saw him when he first appeared, Cooper. And Cooper was produced in Toronto by, gall darn it, one of the big music producers around. I think he's still alive. He did... No, not Dan Langlois. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Well, we have some sad news to report. Let's get this up first.
Yeah, let's start with that right away.
Rest in peace, Roger Sweet, creator of He-Man, says Miller. That is true. And also Grimzilla sends in some love for Roger Sweet, creator of He-Man. He was 91 and sadly passed away. I believe it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Or was it today?
The news were made known yesterday.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think I heard yesterday. So yeah.
Yeah.
So sad news. A person who was a huge influence behind He-Man. Sad he didn't get to live long enough to see his creation come to the big screen. But that's the sadder part, is that as far as I know, he hasn't seen any money from any of that stuff, and he was struggling near the end too. In fact,
he was. I mean, his family
Yeah.
they did some GoFundMe.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
there towards the end. I have to correct you there, though. He actually did see his creation come to life back in 1987.
this is true.
Yeah,
But I mean, in the new
The guys
version,
that
just to
told-
see how badly they fucked it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again.
So-
But no, sadly, he will be missed, and that's a huge loss.
Yeah. He's someone I would have loved to interview, and sadly never got the opportunity to do. So we lost him, and we lost the creator of co-creator of the Punisher a few days before that,
Jerry Conway.
Conway, yeah. So well, the old god is the old god.
And the fact that these guys are like creative artists, it doesn't help that whole Threes conspiracy. So hopefully nobody else is on the block. But that's too bad. They will be missed.
Yeah.
And then we got Final Smash MSNJ sending in $10. Says, it's amazing how bad Marvel fumbles the ball now. Daredevil was a layup with a built-in fan base from the Netflix series, and they even managed to botch that. it's like they're trying to fail. This is a good point here, Final Smash, because
Yeah.
look at the
Let's get
success.
into that right away because that's
Yeah.
the main topic. We have other topics, but that's the main one. So yeah, let's do it
And I
right
got-
So I'm
away.
going to say,
And I do
compare-
got those Michael numbers for all the demographic breakdowns for this weekend. Just so you know.
Yeah, we'll get into that in just a moment. But on this note, like, no, I forgot the point I was going to make. Yeah, now I do. Because this is a great point. Because they didn't manage to pull the audience they had from Netflix over, and what they did, they lost. It seems like, as opposed to where, like, when Cobra Kai went from YouTube to Netflix, that had huge success.
It had a massive bump.
Yeah. So like this is a good point here. So Andre, Daredevil's not doing so well, and I think the only person on this panel who's seen it is Paul, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe Chris.
Well,
but,
I've seen
Paulie.
it. I'm not fully
I saw
caught
one
up.
episode.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I'm a huge fan of the Netflix Daredevil and everything like that, and I think this thing is a chore to watch. It's something I'm actively dreading. So, I now have to watch this thing. So I'm a couple of episodes behind. And we don't have any detailed numbers because this is Disney Plus. So, and they do not reveal their numbers. But you do have third-party agencies that still do tracking. And their numbers, they tend to be pretty spot on. And the thing to keep in mind here is that the Netflix Daredevil, because of the poor state of Marvel, it didn't open with great numbers to begin with. It actually only did very middling numbers for a Marvel Netflix series in the first place. And now, for season 2, it's half of that even. So yeah, clearly not a huge hit. There's Daredevil bored again, says Mecha J. I think there's many reasons why it just isn't clicking this time the way it was before. It's also worth mentioning that even when it was on Netflix, it was popular. It was beloved, it was esteemed, but it wasn't Stranger Things.
I was going to say it had what, like 3 or 4 million people on average watching, something like that.
Yeah, it had the kind of it had the same kind of numbers that got Enterprise cancelled, which are numbers most TV shows would kill for to have today.
So just dovetailing on what you just said, because I was going to jump in on that. I did a piece on when Disney first aired their version of Daredevil, and I made a comment that got me into all sorts of trouble online, was based on the Netflix numbers which I can't recall anymore. It had already run its course on Netflix. And the third show really did not, the third season really did not do particularly well. And this is something that everybody neglected when it came to the Disney version, and everyone was so hyped up about it. But it's because all anyone remembers of the Netflix series was either the first season or the hallway fight. That's really their only impression of the Netflix.
Well,
do you know why the third season did poorly?
Because it was stupid.
Yeah, but why was it stupid?
And Elektra was terrible in it.
Yeah, he wasn't even in it, but
that's when I checked out, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, you were going to say,
but Andre? You know why? Why there was such a drop-off?
No.
Because there was something in between there. You would think it's
the Defenders.
Season 2, Daredevil season 3, right? But there wasn't. Because Daredevil season 3 is not the sequel to Daredevil season 2. No, it's the sequel to The Defenders. Which was a complete and total disaster that destroyed all of the Netflix series, all in one fell swoop. This was the major Avengers-level team-up event, and you don't hear about it today anymore because it was a complete and total shambles, because the showrunner for it was the same guy who ruined Dexter during its original run, and who also ruined Iron Fist. That's the guy that they chose to give the Defenders to. And it was
you're right.
Watched massively.
Right. The original guy from sorry, Tom. The original guy from Daredevil had departed by that time.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's where I kind of checked out of the show. I did not watch The Defenders. I checked out when Elektra popped up into Daredevil because the show felt like it turned into a completely different show. It's not that I have a problem with Elektra. In fact, I have that series, the Daredevil Elektra series from years ago, the one that the movie pulled a lot from. But like, yeah, I just fell out of it because even the second season of both Jessica Jones and what's his face kind of fell off too.
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage, yeah. So like, and I did not watch Iron Fist at all because from what you guys were saying, I'm like, oh, I'm not even gonna bother.
I watched them all.
And so did I. Defenders ruined all of them. And here's
Yeah.
like the thing: if you just go straight from Daredevil season 2 to Daredevil season 3, you are completely, totally lost because the whole story has moved on. It's like you missed the whole season, and that's because, in a sense, you did, because it was a whole season's worth of not only material but status quo changing material that you just missed out on. That didn't even happen in the series. It was completely ridiculous. So there's a whole season of garbage content that you have to see between there. And that season of garbage content doesn't make a lick of sense unless you have seen Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and the abominable Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
They're all homework. You have to see all of them in order for the Defenders to make sense. So in turn, Daredevil season 3 can make sense. That was a big part of the drop off there. It's a similar. It's like it's not the same, but it's also not wholly
Scott Buck
unlike.
and S.J. Clarkson were the ones who were responsible.
Yeah. It's not wholly unlike the situation that was between The Mandalorian season 2 and The Mandalorian season 3. In between there, you have the Boba Fett show that explains the gap in between.
But you've just confirmed my hypothesis that by the time Disney got the property and the time that elapsed on top of all of that,
that made it even worse.
And the awful sequence with She-Hulk.
Yeah,
you add all that stuff together.
Yeah,
it was already a tapped out property.
Correct.
And I think they were making way too big a deal out of it. And then there's all the rumors of reshooting because they decided to make it less woke at the last second, which is why GTA 6 is being, that's why they're not releasing that. That's 2 years late. So again, and plus the fact that the return show had been, wasn't interesting. Kingpin, possibly the finest antagonist in this universe, was cucked during, what was it, Echo?
Yeah.
So,
No, he was proper cucked when Marvel got him back because his wife was sleeping around with another man.
But he was killed in it. He was beaten up by a deaf, one-legged blind girl.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd sleep around on him too if he had gotten beaten by a deaf.
Yeah, I would sleep. Yes, I would give his wife complete permission to go off with anybody.
That's like a total ticket. Yeah.
Those were the type of jokes we used to tell back in the day. Your mama got beat up by a deaf, one-legged blind.
Yeah. Who walk like this.
And now it's Marvel.
Anyway. And indigenous. Don't forget that. Indigenous, yeah.
Oh, indigenous.
Oh, indigenous. She be, yeah.
Well, I mean, they even fucked that up.
Were you trying to say indigenous? Kind of like mixed genius with indigenous?
No, I was trying to. I was trying to do the Key and Peele bit. The teacher mispronouncing the names.
Oh, okay.
Jumping all over the place, brother.
I am.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you lost me.
That's what senility does.
Nobody's watching Daredevil Born Again. And
no.
It's just, it's woke. You can tell what Disney has done. Because you remember, does anybody even remember Hawkeye? Do you remember watching Hawkeye?
That was one of the few shows I didn't hate. But the last episode was so bad.
Yeah, it was.
So bad. Like leading up to it, it was fine. And then that last episode where they have the Christmas tree fight and the little girl kicks the shit out of Kingpin, you're like, what the hell just happened? Because doesn't she break his knee or some shit like that? I can't remember.
We're going to make this. Now we're going to uplift the women. You knew right then how Disney, because that's what Disney specializes in is it's girl boss action. It's girl boss, girl boss, girl boss. And I think what they're trying to do is they try to make all their male brands female branded. They
Oh yeah,
want,
we know
they're
that.
trying
But
to make
Yeah,
the
that's
women-
obvious.
did
yeah, they're
Kingpin
trying to get
beaten up in
women to
Hawkeye?
watch these shows, and women just aren't necessarily interested. Why would they care about Daredevil? I mean, you can make it appealing to a lot of people, but somebody was talking about like that movie Breakdown with Kurt Russell. Well, that's
Kurt
a
Russell,
that's a
yeah.
movie made for guys, right? But women can enjoy that movie too, like most action movies. But it feels like that Disney thinks you have to, or maybe the people that work for Disney thinks you have to de-ball the men
Well-
to make it appeal to women, and you don't
But
have to do that.
No, but I'll
I'm
tell
not-
you why. It's not to appeal to women.
Mm.
It's what they want to do.
Mm.
And number two, it's by de-balling men, it's actually just a cheap way of writing. It's an easier way to write by having, you know, your antagonist being a man, or even if the man is on your side, it's a cheap way to raise up the status of the woman. That's
Right.
happening in female literature right now. All the women publishers are publishing the endless novels of women cheating on their husbands. That's the most popular book right now on the New York Top 100. And this is just a continuation of the same thing. And the easiest, cheapest thing to do is put a man down, because the male is the last bastion that you're allowed to insult without any kind of repercussions. You can do whatever you want to a man.
Well, I'm going to
Well-
go and say I think it's mostly white male, but I agree with you.
To a point, yes, but like the black men and Mexican men are also a big part of that too. Don't
Oh,
get
sure.
me wrong.
Yeah, just the masculine ideal is.
Yeah.
But you know, there's still a certain amount of protection with the libs and the progressives if you at least identify as a person
True.
of color.
But that's just it. It's
And it's
Hi-
thin.
no, but it's hijacked.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's hijacked, right? So it's like I can't even have a conversation and using it from a place of reason and intelligence without being connected to some sort of agenda.
Yeah.
You know, it's all academia and Hollywood hijack. People of color, the terms, whatever they are.
Yeah.
You know, it's a total fucking hijack. Which really, don't get me on my soapbox. You don't want a pissed off Polly when it comes to this shit.
Mm.
But
Oh,
you're
that's
absolutely right.
nice.
They're living in a fantasy world.
Well,
The reality is, I'm sorry.
oh no, this is a point I've been trying to get across here for like the last 5 minutes, so it's okay. It's not like I haven't said it before, or nobody else on this panel hasn't said it before, but I hope this weekend that I hope Michael continues to do well, but I actually hope The Devil Wears Prada 2 does well, because it's more proof of what we keep telling these people in Hollywood and what Paul was kind of just getting at, and at least from my perspective, and that is that women will go see movies that you make for them.
Mm.
Not only that, women will go see movies that are made for men, because guess what? They want to see men doing manly things.
Yeah.
They like seeing man as a protector. They like seeing a man, like Arnold Schwarzenegger doing something like Kindergarten Cop. They think that's adorable, right? Like that's why that was such a big hit. In fact, that's one of Arnie's biggest hits. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I guarantee you a big portion of that audience was female, just like with Michael. Same kind of thing, right? You put these kind of movies out there that a general audience will like, and guess what? A female audience will gravitate towards something if it's good. You'd be surprised how many women actually liked First Blood, and the proof is in the pudding when Last Blood came out, right?
Mm.
That's the point Andre figured out and made. And it's like, yes, women like to see men doing manly things. They like to go see girly things too, like Devil Wears Prada, or even something that they think is shit, like Wuthering Heights. They'll still go see it just so they can bitch about it with their friends, right? Like, I mean, we're not above that. We do the same thing here, right? But they do it on a level to where it's fun for them, and it's just what they do. They'll get together with their friends and they go see these movies. And I guarantee you that's what this weekend is going to be, is groups of 5 to 12 women dragging all their friends along to go see The Devil Wears Prada 2 and Paul and all the gay men,
Yeah.
and it's going to do well.
Paul.
Is it going to do as well as Michael? No, but I think it'll still do well. And I think that hopefully they'll see that, because it's the same thing with TV, right? Women will watch shit like Edgerton and, those kind of shows where, like Paul was saying, they love to get into these, steamy romance type shit. And men don't really get into that crap, right? That's just the way it is. It's just because it's okay that we
Paul
have a
does.
difference. Paul does, but Paul's half gay. See, so
Yeah, half a game.
and Paul can walk into a gay bar and nobody would look twice.
I don't swallow.
Oh no.
Well, that's what keeps him from being full gay.
Right. He
goodness.
carries his own spittoon.
There goes that clip.
Oof. Oof.
But yeah, so I think with Daredevil, again, it's the same thing. I mean, but you go to the other side of it, these Marvel shows, they've been what? Crap, and more crap since Disney's taken them over. And no matter how they want to reconfigure Daredevil, from what I hear from you guys, it's been nothing but garbage. They had a chance and an opportunity to kind of redo that season 3.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody would have had a problem. And what did they do? They just made it more woke.
What are you talking about? Which show?
For Daredevil.
Well, the biggest problem with Daredevil in this is they got way too many balls up in the air. It's just way too broad. There's not enough Daredevil in it. It's covering too much territory, too many subplots. I just don't care.
And it didn't even come out of the gate very strong, right? On Disney in the first season is like, Kingpin's
because they tripped over it.
He's still in recovery, getting his butt kicked by a deaf, one-legged girl. Foggy gets killed off right away. And Daredevil's still in mourning a year later. There's really no Daredevil at all. Kingpin's wife is the boss now. She's made it a bulletproof business. And there's couples therapy going on. I mean, it's just so anti-male. You're right. They could have corrected that third season. And going back to what Andre was saying with the Defenders, I was willing to forgive the Defenders because Punisher season 1 came out after that. And I liked the Punisher. I actually liked both seasons of the Punisher over on Netflix. But I have almost no interest in watching this Punisher one-shot. And every time I see John Bernthal in these Spider-Man trailers, Brand New Day, it's almost like it feels like a TV actor to me now on the big screen. So I think it kind of cheapens Spider-Man to be using.
They should have Evil Dead 2'd this thing. Is what they should have done.
Like a redo.
Well, in a sense,
yes. They should have, when they moved it over, they should have cherry picked what they were going to move over, leave off what they're not going to use, like Defenders and shit like that. Start Daredevil 3, a completely fresh season 3, and basically just pretended whatever happened over there didn't happen. And just
I agree.
go from
That's
there.
what they should have done. Unfortunately, the only thing they did where they did that was with the Punisher, where they have Evil Deaded him, quitting as the Punisher, and going to AAA meetings and feeling sorry for himself and getting in touch with his feelings and laying down his guns several times over. That is what they've been Evil Deading.
Well, what I mean is by that is then when you do that is you keep what you're going to keep, and or if you're not going to do that, you just completely wipe it off and you do a brand new movie that covers the same stuff the same way, but in half the time.
Yeah.
And then you pick up from there going, okay, so this is the actual continuity now, right? Like, so you recover some of the shit. You can even recreate the hallway scene and a few other bits that, thought that the people liked. And you do it as a movie, like like there's Disney movies, if they had to. You didn't even have to do it theatrically.
I've said it before. There's nothing stopping any of these property holders from treating their comic book characters the way they were treated in the comic books. If someone said, I'm just going to use this as an example, Disney is going to present the Verhoeven run of Daredevil in the same way that you got the McFarlane run of Spider-Man. And it was different from what was happening before, except for Aunt May. And, you had these conventions you had to maintain. But that's what the comic books were. This adherence to try to keep these story threads and arcs going has just killed the entire genre. You know, it's the dumbest thing. These people do not understand the history of comic books.
No,
I agree with you on that, Paul. And not only that, they're because they basically turned it all into a what if scenario.
Exactly. I mean, who's the guy who did the Transformer movies?
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. So if someone said, okay, this is going to be the Michael Bay, run of Thor, then okay, I don't care if it's utterly different from anything that preceded it.
Well, that could have saved DC back in the day, and they kind of tried that, but it didn't.
Well, now
go the direction they should have.
We're in the Gunn era of DC. It does feel different, but he's not succeeding so far. I mean, we're only judging him on one movie.
One movie. I was going to say it's not really quite.
Well, except for Peacemaker season 2, which got completely fucked up.
But the beauty of that is, so far from what we can tell, is the difference between the Disney stuff with Marvel and the stuff with DC. And I believe Gunn has made this very specific point, is you don't have to watch Peacemaker to watch whatever comes next.
Right.
With Supergirl or Man of Tomorrow or whatever is my guess. The movies are going to be the movies and the TV shows are going to be the TV shows, and there may be some crossover. But my understanding from the way he explained it is it's not going to be as, tied in as Marvel is, to where I'm pretty sure, because he watched the fall of Marvel and he even commented on that before. And he got some of the points right. I mean, he missed out on some things, don't get me wrong, but he sat there and watched the problems they were having over there. And he kind of said in so many words that he wasn't going to bring that shit over to DC.
Well, I mean,
and that's
Marvel,
why,
Do we honestly think that we can't, that we're going to be able to enjoy Doom, whatever it's called,
Doomsday,
without having watched the Avengers? Can we really watch Doomsday without doing some homework? Seriously?
The Russos, if they're smart, I mean, yes, there's going to be some homework, but if they are smart, and this is what we've heard, and this is where I'm not against this, that it pretty much picks up right where Endgame left off, meaning that any ancillary bullshit that's happened in the meantime since then doesn't matter.
Yeah, but
so it doesn't matter if you've seen. Yes, but most people have seen up through Endgame.
Yeah.
Right? Like, being that that's the biggest movie of all time.
Yeah.
So since then, as long as you ignore all the garbage in between there and now, for the most part, I
agree that is what they should do, but I think there is one fallback with that. I think that's a narrative that they're trying to put out there, but I don't know that narrative necessarily is truthful, because there's way too many people in the movie from the Disney Plus shows and the new movies.
Yeah, and that's a problem. But then again, that's where I feel like they're doing their own disservice now, and we've hit where this brick wall with this tied-in universe stuff that we used to love so much 10 years ago has now become a bane of its own existence.
Yeah,
and I said,
absolutely.
It's too heavy. It's too much weight for it to be holding on to, especially when you got people who are claiming that there's too much Star Trek and other things to go through. That's why they do, just want to change the canon, because it's just easier than it is actually doing the fucking homework.
You know what the problem is, though?
You can do this just like James Bond has done it. You don't have to have seen all the James.
That's kind of what I was getting at. Yeah.
James Bond movie.
But the big problem is right now, when you just look at in terms of the hours of content that you have to sift through if you want to see it all, there's now twice as many bad hours as there's good hours.
That's the
or
truth.
Even 3 times.
Yeah.
Now
to
the
be fair,
majority of hours of MCU content is bad.
Well, it's always been bad, right? Iron Man 2, right? Or even Iron Man 3, or
but
Hulk,
they all have their moments. I personally think the Incredible Hulk is one of the best movies there. So of course opinions are going to differ. Not everything is going to be for everyone, but most of the stuff from the past 5 years is for almost no one.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
At least with phase 1 through most of phase 3, I guess, they were able to keep things kind of in some sort of semblance of order. And again, I hate bringing it up because everybody always calls me a gun lord, but I'm not. I mean, I've called him out on his bullshit. I don't think that Coyote Acme movie is going to be very good. But that being said, he was there to help them usher them through the Infinity Saga.
Mhm.
I mean, we put a lot of faith in the Russos, and it just makes me wonder if we're putting way too much faith in the Russos. Because say what you will about Superman and everything else that James Gunn's done, he at least has his own voice, right? We know it's something James Gunn, like Tarantino, when you see something that's Tarantino's, right? Like, you know it's his.
Yeah.
Like, that is one thing you can't take away from him. But the thing they don't have over at Marvel is a fucking direction right now. And that's the problem. It's become basically the Taika Waititi franchise at this point. And that's kind of what's happened. I know everybody kind of blames James Gunn for the humor, but it's like, no. Go back and watch those Guardians movies. They don't have a lot of the problems that people bitch about when it comes to the Marvel humor. The Marvel humor problems are in Ragnarok and definitely in Thor Love and Thunder. That's where it really is a problem.
Yeah, Ragnarok, I think, was kind of a breath of fresh air because it was sort of more.
It was for some people, but
it was just more comedy than we were used to.
But you have issues of there's some serious moments where the tension is cut by too much humor in those compared to the Guardians films, where at least Gunn usually lets the drama play out before he throws a joke in, right? Like to where Taika Waititi doesn't even wait 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think
because like right at the end when Ragnarok, when the thing blows up, he's like, well, no, Nemo, you know, like that you know.
Phase 1 had its share of duds, you know, like with Dark World or you know, we can debate.
Was that Phase 1 or was that Phase 2?
Might have been Phase 2. Phase 1.
That's Phase 2.
I was going to say.
There's 3 phases.
Thor Dark World is actually the first movie that was fully made under Disney.
Okay. But there was some of the strongest movies too in that in those first 3 phases, like with Winter Soldier and of course the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and even the Spider-Man stuff and Black Panther.
Because they had direction. Yeah.
Ant-Man. I actually loved the first Ant-Man personally.
Oh, the first one's underrated. Yeah. Same thing with the first Captain America. But
yeah, agreed.
What happened was then is they had too much shit going on, too much shit to keep track of, too much shit that people had to watch.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that nobody's going to watch all this shit. The general public does not care.
Well, and then phase 4 through 6 was, you know, who cares? Black Widow, she's already dead. Shang-Chi, right? Eternals was crap. You had some bright spots with No Way Home and Guardians 3 and Deadpool Wolverine, which I don't really, you know, it's sort of a Fox property. It doesn't really feel like it's part of the MCU. And that's really it. And other than the Spider-Man movies, and unless you're a fan of First Steps, the Fantastic Four flick, which I know.
Oh God, I don't know too many people that are. I know some people that were seemed like just out of spite of Superman, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But you know, like that's just it. Where they have nothing. That's why Doomsday is kind of a. And I know what you're saying, Andre, by like that's what they're putting out there, and that's what they want people to believe. But I'm not so convinced that it isn't kind of a reset of sorts.
Oh, it is.
They have that ability.
Going to be one of the new Avengers, and the Thunderbolts are going to be some of the new Avengers. I think these are the new Avengers. You know, they're going to get RDJ and Chris Evans and them on for this one last big hurrah.
Yeah,
and then they're going to do this Secret Wars thing, and they're going to clean the slate, and your new Avengers will be the C-list characters.
Aside from Spider-Man,
maybe. Well, now I'm hearing it sounds like Ruffalo just revealed that Venom's going to finally be in this Spider-Man movie.
There was also some stuff going around because I guess if you really look into the poster, there's some little Easter eggs in there. And Venom's,
it would be a smart move for some.
Yeah, and Venom's because remember at the end of the one movie they had a piece of Venom left behind.
Yep.
And I always said that I could imagine Kevin Feige has said many a time that Venom is one of his favorite characters, and he wants to get Venom into the Marvel universe. So I think they may have found a way they can do both, especially now that Tom's trilogy is pretty much done. Basically, it's left with some open doors, but it's also set itself up in a way that if that's the last one, that's the last one, and you can bring in a new bad Venom in the MCU because that's what the folks really want to see.
Tom Hardy from Let There Be Carnage, he entered the MCU at the end of Let There Be.
But he
Carnage.
went back. Remember?
That's right.
He left a piece
behind.
No
Way Home, you're right.
And
they left a piece.
Multiverse. You're not bound.
Yeah.
Another part of the multiverse.
You could even have Tom Hardy still play it, but as a bad version. That's my point.
Yeah, that's good.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would work. That would actually give, I think, a much needed boost, because it just looks like, when you've got Zendaya and the other guy who's his buddy in the movie, and he's basically sad Peter Parker chasing around his friends that don't know him anymore.
Well, let's just put it this way. If Spider-Man doesn't perform, if I was Disney, I'd be fucking scared.
Oh,
Because Spider-Man No Way Home was one of the biggest Marvel movies, and if this one falls off a cliff,
yeah.
that's proof that not only did you damage Spider-Man, but you've damaged Marvel as an entity as a whole.
Yeah.
Means people will no longer trust not just Marvel, but they ain't gonna trust shit like Spider-Man. That's bad. Because that's where DC was with the Batman. And that's what I was trying to tell people that was why it sent mixed signals to Warner Brothers. I'm not saying it was a disaster. I'm not saying it was a flop. But what it did is you had the first Batman movie since The Dark Knight that did not gross $1 billion. Same thing with BVS. And they're going, what the fuck is going on here? Because even if you go by inflation, going back to the 1989 Batman, that grossed basically $1 billion. Right? Even the lesser of them did very well. So we're getting to a point here where they're even asking people like Peter Safran if comic book fatigue is set in, and he said, no, I think it's just bad movie fatigue. He's right there to a point, but is it also to a point where people are not going to trust these comic book movies, period, anymore? That's the question I have.
Yeah, it's kind of like Lucy and the football. I mean, how many times are we going to run down to the cinemas to watch another dud get pulled? It all kind of happened around 2020, right? So like the last, I think Endgame was 2019.
2019, yeah. It was literally
Black
the
Widow
Endgame.
2021, and we had COVID. But it also had the same thing kind of happened to the DCU, because
it's all happened at the same time everywhere. Mr. Chappell did a video on this, how it all happened.
That's right.
It was at the same time.
That's right.
Yeah.
But, because I like Aquaman and Shazam. Those were from 2019 also. I think 2018, 2019. But 2020 was Birds of Prey, and then Wonder Woman 1984, and
just one disaster after the other.
Yeah,
I maintain what they should have done after when they had the opportunity during the lockdowns was scrap everything with the exception of Deadpool and Wolverine. And I said the same thing after Deadpool and Wolverine came out and was a massive hit. Okay, now you have this. Now you need to scrap everything that comes after and do a rethink. You need to cancel Captain America Brave New World. You need to cancel New Avengers or Thunderbolts. You need to cancel Fantastic Four.
Thunderbolts I didn't mind.
No.
Thunderbolts has not been trashed as much as
the
the rest.
But Captain America Brave New World, that needed to be cancelled and it needed to not be released.
But
the only thing it did, it
terrible.
Completely undid the damage. You know why? Because Deadpool and Wolverine gave audiences hope after almost losing it, and then it was snatched right away again.
Yeah, and I mean the Thunderbolts or whatever the fuck, like the only reason that probably is just like, it was mostly harmless, I think, was your reaction to it, Andre. But nobody watched it. Nobody went to see it. I still haven't seen it. But
I saw it.
Leah,
it was mostly harmless.
The problem with the Thunderbolts is that that's something that goes over well when your tent poles are like kicking ass.
Mm-hmm.
None of these movies they've been horrible, and then it's like, oh well, this is a new breath of fresh air.
I don't know. I kind of saw Thunderbolts as like a top 20 hit on an otherwise shitty album of a band that you're usually used to having. You know what I mean? Like
same thing. It's the same. We're the same thing.
Yeah, so you kind of accept it, but you're like, yeah, this is not nearly as good as their old shit. But I want to address this here. Leah Plus Size says, it seems all you guys want are evil bad guys. I go to a superhero movie to be inspired, and I feel like crap. Well, that's the whole. I think we're kind of wanting the same thing, Leah Plus Size,
want
because
the same things for the bad guys to be bad, the good
guys to be good.
Heroes. Whereas instead, what we've gotten for the last few years is just bad guys all around. By which I mean, like even the heroes are, especially if they're women, are written like villains. All of them. We want the same thing.
Yeah, and how can you have a Punisher in a world where there is no real heroes and villains and there's so much gray? Because even the Punisher kind of doesn't fit in that world anymore.
For instance, just look at Captain Marvel. She's written like a villain.
Yeah. Yeah, she is. I'm not sure if Leah Plus Size understands this, because as far as I want inspiring superhero movies, I thought Wonder Woman was fantastic. I liked Shazam. I liked the Guardians of the Galaxy. I like the Winter Soldier. I like the old Avengers movies. I liked Ant-Man. I mean,
You know what? A lot of those movies you're mentioning though that have are different from a lot of the more modern Marvel films is they actually have bad guys that are bad, right? We don't have this wishy-washy bullshit. You know, like
Bad,
even though,
but compelling.
yeah. See, there's a difference between like the Winter Soldier where you had Baron Zemo and you know even Thanos to a point. It's like they almost misunderstood that. It's like, yes, the bad guy thinks they're doing the right thing, but there's also this sense of, you know, selfishness, right? Because it's like they're going to do it at whatever cost, but like not even thinking about what they're doing, right? Like that's kind of the whole point of what makes a bad guy a bad guy. There's the other versions, like I've said, where, you know, you have your flat out bad guys like that have had bad things happen to them and they want to take it out on everybody else, right? Like there's that bad guy too, but you have your Lex Luthers and you have your other kind of bad guys who think they're doing the right thing, but it's so egotistical of them that they'll still go to that point where it's at whatever cost it takes, right? Like same thing with Kingpin is a good example and stuff like that.
Well,
you can have those bad
Disney,
guys.
it's Maleficent and Agatha Harkness. You know, you got to understand these villains, right? And I don't care for any of that.
Who's bad?
Yeah, but sometimes you got villains who just love to be villains, like the Green Goblin. I mean,
there was a great interview with Christoph Waltz. I can't remember who the talk show host dude was, but he asked him, how does he get into being such a bad guy in Inglourious Bastards? And Christoph Waltz looked at him. Sorry, I don't understand your question. And he went, well, what's it like getting up in the morning and getting into the head of this bad guy? And he said, who's the bad guy?
Mm-hmm. And that's why we love his character in Inglourious Bastards.
Oh,
right?
my God.
Because you hate him, but he's so compelling and mesmerizing. And
yeah, that's exactly it. You want to be mesmerized, but it doesn't need to be deconstructed to where we understand and we sympathize.
If anything, his character in Django Unchained is a little more unlikable just because of the way he presents himself, but he is a better guy, right? He's a good guy as opposed to the one that's in, and that's the beauty of it. And that's the best bad guys are always the ones that you fall in love with and you love to hate. You know, like the one I always like to bring is from Die Hard, you know, Alan Rickman, Hans Gruber. I mean, come on.
I didn't understand Lex Luthor's motivation in Superman. In the recent one.
Really? He wanted to destroy Superman. That's pretty much it.
Because he made him bald with a high school experiment, right? Is that not?
And he takes in the movie, I think it's more so just that he's jealous that he's taking all of his, because he even kind of says it in that line near the end where he's like, he should be in the same breath as all these great people, but he's not because of Superman.
It was a weak motivation.
To a point, but that's always Lex's motivation. Like, that's why I couldn't understand why people are upset with, like, it's like, that's what Lex has always been. He's always hid behind this idea that he's trying to save the planet from these aliens, but he's just trying to get rid of the only people who could ever stop him. Right? Like, that's his basic motivation. But he just hides behind this guise of a philanthropist and all that stuff.
I didn't enjoy it.
That's fair.
Who asked you? Jerk.
Yeah, who asked you?
Jerk.
Yeah, so we'll have to see.
Glad when they do a Superman movie that, you know, or franchise. I guess it's a new Superman franchise that doesn't focus on Lex Luthor. I mean, they've done it now for almost every show, almost every movie series.
I have a hunch that Luthor will end up sacrificing himself in Man of Tomorrow.
Well, yeah, because we have to identify with the bad guys. And
it's not so much that, it's just it'll get him out of the way. And then because the big bad from here on out is going to probably be Brainiac until a team up to go against him. That's about time.
Speaking of Christoph Waltz, just sidebar.
He'd be a good Brainiac.
I've always thought that he could play Klaus Kinski, like a biopic of Klaus Kinski.
He wouldn't be
during
bad.
The Nosferatu, the vampire.
You'd have to give him something with makeup, but
yeah.
You know, there's actually a German stand-up comedian who does that, who imitates Klaus Kinski, having meltdowns. Like he goes to these public events, handing out awards and stuff like that, and then goes on Kinski-style rants, attacking the audience.
You can tell he's nuts, but he is one of those actors where he just mesmerizes. As soon as he comes on screen, you're just,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
It's a shame he wasn't in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
But another movie paid a little bit more, so he went for that.
Tom, you had mentioned in our private chat that the Django Zorro, the Quentin Tarantino comic book, adapted to film.
We're about to get to that. Yeah.
Are we? Okay. I didn't know that was one of the topics today. I missed that.
I thought it would be anyway.
Okay.
Because we spent more than enough time on Disney's big problem of Marvel. I thought we'd get through some super chats and we talk some Django.
And I got those Michael numbers if you still want them.
Oh yeah, we can talk a little bit about that too.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of goes off of what we were saying as far as like this upcoming weekend with the box office. I was because this is kind of what brought it up. I was a little concerned considering that Michael's audience was 61%, I think, female.
I have that.
And we had, but this week and I'm like, maybe it's going to fall off this weekend, but you said it's doing pretty good this week, right, Paulie?
Yeah. And sharing this is the opening weekend from Post Track. They got the ethnic breakdown. And then, like you said, the
heavy black turnout too. Yeah. Obviously. But
yeah, I mean, listen, anytime you have those numbers, it's a huge hit.
These are the kind of demographics that they're looking for in those woke movies that they keep putting out there.
Oh gosh,
this is what they're after.
They wish they could have these numbers.
Yeah,
and that's why they're so mad at y'all for going to see this. They're not mad at us for once. They're mad at you.
A- cinema score, 97% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. The crowd skewed older, 66% of tickets buyers aged 25 and older. So it wasn't the 18 to 24 that was the main one. I'm sure they were like a close second.
Yeah, this is a lot like the Oppenheimer / Top Gun / and that's why this has some potential. So I'm curious to see how this weekend's going to go.
I mean, and this is just the United States, guys. We're not talking different countries.
Right.
Different countries. It's just the United States opening weekend.
38% black turnout, though. Wow.
Well, that's I mean,
because usually that number is the Hispanic turnout.
Well, even 26% is good for the Hispanic, and
Sure
then
is.
the white is a little low, but
we did not go this weekend very much, evidently. I must have made up most of that demographic when I seen it 3 times.
Yeah, Tom.
There's some cracker in Wisconsin who keeps seeing this thing.
So and then we got those numbers from Tuesday, Discount Tuesday. Michael made
11 million. You said, holy shit!
Yeah,
that's better than most preview screenings for movies.
Yeah.
When do they expect to have the global numbers, Paulie?
Oh, they have those. I mean, I could pull those up.
I mean, I know. I think it's. I think they said it already hit 300 million
global.
I think it already hit 300 million as of yesterday. I think they said.
I mean, we're talking so many territories that it's just doing incredible. Pretty nuts.
So yeah, there is that. But let's get into these super chats. We got Drew Tipton who says, "Was it that Andy Serkis playing Bubbles? Maybe." They should get him for part 2, if anything, because they need to do some more flashbacks to some earlier stuff. But
the monkey.
Yeah, when Bubbles gets older, that would be cool to have Andy Serkis.
I thought they meant Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys.
That was one of the worst parts of the movie because that chimp looks so fucking fake. It's all CGI.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Well, and I'm like, well, I can kind of understand that because those motherfuckers would tear your face off. And that's kind of what happened to Bubbles as he started getting mean the older he got. And then Michael found out he didn't raise him right because he didn't raise him around other apes.
Did he have the voice of Malcolm McDowell?
Probably. But he's a pretty big part of the movie. I mean, he's in it quite a bit.
That was Roddy McDowell.
Roddy
McDowell. Yeah, different McDowell. Different McDowell.
Actually, I like the idea of Malcolm McDowell, but then I thought, did he mean Roddy?
I think he meant Roddy.
I meant Roddy.
Which is funny because my dad for years thought Roddy McDowell was the voice of C-3PO as well.
I can't blame him.
You can't. No, you can't blame him.
Thanks, Chris, for correcting me.
You're welcome.
You're like, it almost should have been.
Movies, I was almost there.
I love Roddy McDowell on the Planet of the Apes. Drew Tipton says, you and I have similar niche interests, Andre. I too think the 2005 Silent Hill movie and Billy Idol's Cyberpunk are highly underrated. There you go.
They are. Cyberpunk. It's so good. So good.
There you go.
My all-time favorite song, across the board, is on that album.
Wow.
And I seen that there was a documentary that just came out about Billy Idol too that you already knew
There
about,
was.
which probably would explain why you're like, he needs a movie.
Yeah, it's also why people are talking more about Billy Idol lately. It's not just because of his new album; it's because of the documentary and the album kind of go hand in hand.
I think mostly because of the Rockstar ads on TV.
You see in
But like
those?
the drink?
No, not Rockstar. So there's a consulting company where they tell people they're rock stars.
Oh,
The joke is that real rock stars like will enter the boardroom and they go, "No, you're not a rock star. I'm a fucking rock star." You know,
It's like Billy Idol, yeah.
yeah. Billy Idol was one of the ones. You know, he's looking very old, and kind of puffy, but he's very funny in the ads. They even had Gene Simmons. They have all sorts of rock stars.
yeah.
And it's a very good ad. It's one of these terrible American consulting firms.
He looks just like Martin Cove these days. You know, from Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
He looks just
Hey.
like him. I mean, I did confuse the two for one another these days because they look just the same.
So what's your attraction to Billy Idol? I never thought he was a hard enough rocker. His stuff is way softer than he dressed up to portray it as.
Yeah, I know. He's like a K-pop star at the time.
Yes,
That's equivalent,
thank
right?
you.
He's not really punk. He's a pretend punk,
Thank
and
you.
he was mostly for the chicks.
Yeah.
It's
And he
kind
had
of
the
like
sneer. I can do the
Pop
sneer.
punk, yeah.
yes, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. To me, I was a kid at the time. I just thought his music was really cool, and the cyberpunk album, the vibe, it just blew my mind. Normally, I wouldn't be a fan of someone like Billy Idol, but it's my childhood affection for the music. But I do stand by that the album Cyberpunk has just gotten better and better and better and better with time. I don't listen too much to his other stuff, but anymore. But Cyberpunk is freaking awesome.
Okay.
Billy Idol is in that group of the MTV stars,
Yes.
which includes Michael Jackson, Madonna, Prince. They were made huge because of MTV, and Billy Idol had a look, a style, and yes, it was basically pop punk.
He had the right thing at the right
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Listen,
He
nice
was
take for
basically
one
a
wedding
boy.
is
He was a
great
boy
talk.
band star without the boy band, who happened to at that time, who happened to make it. I'm under no illusion about that, but he happened to make some pretty kick-ass music.
Him and Ozzy were kind of in the same vein of that. Like they had that kind of.
I would give Ozzy a level of realness that Billy Idol
Yes,
does not
definitely.
have.
But I mean, I'm talking about like just the control over MTV, right? Like you had
Yes.
a few stars in that era who, like, as soon as they dropped something, it was like, okay, we're going to be seeing this 12 times a day for the next 6 months until the next one drops. And not so much, but yeah, like early on,
more
yes.
polished Adam Ant, I think he was almost. He had this song "Hot in the City." I'm sure you guys remember it, but it had sounded like it was recorded live. And there's this part where he goes, "New York, hot in the city." Well,
yeah,
they would localize that song. So
Really?
I'm from Chattanooga, and there was a part where he
Concerts,
goes,
hell yeah.
Chattanooga, and they did that all over the country, which I know just elevated the playability of that song because it was localized. I thought it was a brilliant idea because I had heard it in my hometown so many times. When I finally heard the New York version, I'm like, what the heck? You know, I thought we were special, but then I realized localization.
That's cool.
I thought it was a great
Maybe
idea.
we weren't big enough to get localization. I don't remember ours being special.
It's so fun. Like we have artists that go around the world, and you can see that they have to check the notes to make it to remind themselves where they are right now. Like I saw Marilyn Manson in concert back in like early 2000s when he was like huge, and he had like this song like I don't like the one like what's it called again?
Don't
I don't
like the
like
drugs,
the
but I like
drugs,
drugs like me.
drugs are like me. Yeah. And at one point in the song, he says the drugs are made right here in, and that's a song that was localized for each city they were touring in. And I could totally tell he was like holding the guitar before that sentence started, and he was like, "Okay, checking guitar, drugs made right here in Oslo."
That was a Spinal Tap in The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Oh, they did it because it was real.
I know, but that was in The Simpsons in like 1991 when Spinal Tap showed up. They're like, "Hello, Springwood," and he still gets it wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Alice
But-
Cooper, though,
but
for this
anyway, so-
comment,
so, yeah.
he still puts on a huge show. I saw him 8 years ago here in town, and he puts
Yeah.
the big inflatables, the big giant dramatic show. I mean, he puts on a show, man. He's still got it.
Oh,
He takes
Cooper,
fun.
yeah.
I would say though that I love going to concerts, and that is something that is still on my bucket list. Is to see Billy Idol in concert.
Oh,
that
yeah.
is one thing I have yet to do. So I have to be able to do that before he retires.
My
So, yeah.
my performance bucket list is complete.
Oh,
Todd Rundgren, Roxy Music, and God damn it, starting with S. I'll remember my brain.
Smithereens.
Sepultura.
No, I might put Rammstein on that list.
Oh.
That
Oh, that's what Andre
It
calls
would be an
church.
experience. You'd love that.
Yeah.
I think Rammstein are probably retired. So the closest thing you're going to get is Till Lindemann, who was the singer of Rammstein. And he tours very regularly, and he drops new music all the freaking time. But some of the other members, they want to retire, which means that then there's no more Rammstein. I mean,
right.
their final single was called Adieu, and I don't think that was ironic.
Sorry. Number 3 for me is Sparks. So I've seen all 3.
Sparks.
Oh,
Todd
Sparks.
Rundgren.
All Canadian shit.
No, there's no Canadian. in
Sparks
there.
is good.
Yeah.
Sparks, Todd
Thought Sparks
Rundgren,
was.
and Roxy Music were my absolute 3 bucket
Roxy
list,
Music's good.
bands, and I've seen them all.
Pilgrim Media says saw Cooper in UK in '81 at the Hammersmith Odeon. Yeah,
Nice.
my dad, he's told me about when he's seen Cooper during the Nightmare tour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't really say I want to see any of those bands that you guys mentioned.
That's because you're tasteless.
Well, that's because you don't know what kind of experience you'd be missing out on.
I mean, because it's me, right? There's something flawed in my musical DNA.
Yeah,
no,
there-
you like music, but
it's because there isn't some short guy with a guitar that's like giant size.
now if you had a mariachi version, you'd love it.
That's my
Dude.
mariachi comment.
The funny
Yeah.
thing is,
I didn't
that
even mention
Rammstein actually
race, right? I didn't even mention race.
Rammstein even actually have a mariachi song.
You
I
swine.
mentioned a giant, oversized guitar. That's all.
Hey, I'm a
said.
sucker for
I
a
saw-
mariachi version of any song.
I
Eastern
saw. I
mariachi.
got to see my last bucket list was Radiohead, and I got to see them.
Oh, nice.
At backstage, I had the whole hookup. Was heaven. I've seen some great bands. From Coldplay, Muse,
I'm a loser. I ain't been to hardly any concerts.
Killers.
Some of the bands
Yeah.
just don't translate live particularly well.
Those guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of bands don't do that. You
A lot of
that
bands.
really excel and are better live than studio, not the way around. But Paulie,
Yeah.
there is Rammstein. They actually made a song specifically for the Mexican market because they were so massive in Mexico.
Oh,
So it's with the mariachi bands. You have like the trumpets and everything, and it's sung entirely in Spanish.
wow.
It's yeah.
I
The
actually wasn't-
beautiful
Yeah.
Spanish song called Te Quiero Puta.
What?
Now he's like, what the fuck?
Oh, man.
YouTube algorithms. Here we go.
Oh my God.
No, that's not the joke. That's 100% real.
Andre Saint Puta is not on my bingo list today. Bingo card today.
Well, it was on my bucket list.
I've seen Prince. Oh
Me
my
too.
God.
Hey, now. Me too.
I'm jealous of all you motherfuckers.
Stop.
I've seen
Atlanta.
Prince a couple times.
Saw.
I saw him in a jazz bar in Toronto. Playing
Musicology
jazz.
tour. Fuck, man.
Who, Paul?
I saw Prince
Prince.
playing jazz in a tiny jazz bar in Toronto. Just walked in for some drinks, and who's that short guy on stage?
What a treat.
Oh, it's Prince.
I saw Michael Jackson from a distance in his limo. Yeah,
Cool.
that counts.
I saw
So you
Duran
probably had
Duran.
more of a chance of seeing Michael than hardly any of us on the panel, unless you saw him in '88, because he did most of his touring outside the U.S.
Yeah, this was the Dangerous tour. I wasn't going to the concert, but he was supposed to do like a free concert at like a theme park where I happened to be at the time, and he didn't feel up for doing the concert, but he was there.
I
So
think I
I saw him
remember
at the
that.
distance.
Because there was also, because I do have and I remember watching it at the time, along with the biggest audience HBO has ever had when he did the Dangerous concert on HBO. I've seen that. That's the closest I got to see. But yeah.
Yeah, Sparks is not a Canadian band. That's an LA
Nope.
band.
I know, I was fucking joking. I was joking. Barry the Music Man says women liked Marvel when it had strong men. Yeah, that's true.
Strong me.
It's strong me. Yeah.
I think the issue with regards to feminization and changing these genres is that nobody knows what the genres are anymore. I think they work when they're extremely clear, they follow their own rules, and then the people don't mind from the outside coming in to see it because they've made the decision knowing what they're going to see. So if I go see The Devil Wears Prada 2, I know it's going to be like 1. I enjoyed 1. And it's not trying to adjust for my tastes. I am accommodating the movie. And that's what they fucked up at Marvel, is that they changed these things and they morphed them into what they weren't before. So, if I know sometimes a woman wants to go see a full-on superhero movie without these adjustments. They don't want it to accommodate their interests. And it's the same thing with you. There's all sorts of, black actors who, we like representation in our movies. If there's a Canadian actor, I'm the first person to go, oh, there's a Canadian actor. Oh, look, Jim Carrey is in it. I mean, I'm like Jim representation as much as anybody else. But the thing is, don't screw around with it for the sake of just accommodating people. That's not what made these movies and these superheroes popular to begin with.
Absolutely. No, it's kind of like become an extension of the old analogy that Andre used to use. Because the old analogy with this woke crap was, it's like when you walk into a restaurant and you have a certain expectation going into that restaurant, and you order, say, a burger or a steak, and instead they bring you fish. You're like, well, this isn't what I ordered. They're like, yeah, but it's better for you.
Or we're trying to expand our market.
Okay, well, then what happened is since we rejected that fish and said, well, I don't want that, I want the steak, they went and bought all the other restaurants that you go to, so you can't get steak anymore. That's what they did. That's exactly what they did. So instead of just having this one place where it's like, okay, fine, you have your little woke shit over there, and we'll do our thing over here. No, they decided that, no, because we rejected it, we have to make everything woke. Everything woke. And then that's why in the last 2 years or so, just like, Script and others like yourself and others have predicted, we start seeing it, this change coming through the pipeline of the movies. Sure, they're still griping and bitching and trying to virtue signal on the other side, but if you haven't noticed, a lot more of the movies we've seen lately have a lot less woke shit in them. And if they seem to have, it's probably been edited out. Even Michael's a great example where I brought up, like, they could have really leaned into a lot of the African-American aspects and all that other kind of stuff. And they didn't. There's only one scene in the entire movie where it really comes up about his race. And that's when they were trying to get him played on MTV. And that actually happened. Right. So it's not like they're making shit up just to make him some sort of victim in that sense. He was a victim in so many other ways that had nothing to do with his race. Right. So they didn't need that, and that's kind of what these movies need to understand is you don't necessarily need somebody there all the time, every time to represent somebody. And if a character is seen a certain way by everybody in the general public, they're generally going to respond if the character is kept pretty much the same. And that's whether or not the audience is a black person, an Asian person, a woman or a man, or even a trans or whatever, because there's several people that, they still enjoy classic cinema the way it was, or they like to see certain stories told the way they are, or they can understand that, yes, I may not like that character or relate to everything that character says, but I'm going to continue to see this story because I want to see how it ends. And I'm interested in the story. See, they forgot that. Right? Like, look at a movie like The French Connection is a great example. We're not supposed to like Popeye Doyle. He's not a good guy, but he's also the hero at the same time. Why? Because he's just that much he's an asshole, but he's that much better than the bad guys, right? That was where, like, you could still follow that, and you may not be a racist jerk, but you can still root for him in the movie.
He was willing to be worse than the bad guys.
In some ways, yes. But I mean, my point was getting to is, like, he could be a racist jerk, but you can still respect the character and understand what he's doing and still enjoy the film without having that cloud over your head through the entire movie. Some Karen watches fucking French Connection right now. The whole thing she's going to go through the whole movie going, that guy's nothing but a racist, nothing but a racist, nothing but a racist. And that's all you're going to hear through the whole goddamn movie because that's all they're going to concentrate on.
Yep.
Yeah, lesser of two evils in some ways, but yeah. But then let's get to this one here. Michael Thompson says, "What's up, friends? Happy Hump Day. Netflix Daredevil is awesome. My wife even liked it. Yeah, the first 2 seasons weren't too bad."
Yep.
Detailed Devil, speaking of devils, says, Devil Wears Prada 2 cut Sweeney naive to strong in Immaculate and Eden.
Sydney
They cut her
Sweeney
scene out.
did
They
it.
cut her scene out.
Yeah, she was playing herself in the movie, I guess, and they just cut it
Oh, it
out.
didn't work.
Too long.
This
I don't think it
happens.
was anything
So, yeah,
nefarious.
doesn't mean anything.
No,
I mean, if there's so many actors that have been cut out of movies over the time because they retell the movie, and I think that I chalk up to coincidence.
Yeah. Detailed Devil then says, original sound is greater than indie movie limited release. Singer in slump steals underground song to stay relevant. She's now forced to work with him. Soon sparks fly. 8.5 out of 10. Is that the name of the movie? Original Sound?
Is the name of
Original sound, yeah.
This sounds a lot like that. This ain't the same one as that the Ant-Man movie. The guy who plays it, Paul Rudd. He's got a movie coming out kind of like this too. Is this not the same thing, or?
I don't know.
Because that one was about 2 guys. So we're gonna have 2 movies with basically the same concept, but one's a romance and the other one's
happens frequently, doesn't it?
Yeah. So the one I'm talking about, Paul Rudd writes a song and his buddy steals it and gets famous.
I saw that.
Yeah. So there's that one, and has nothing to do with romance. So this must be a completely different film.
Eric Stoltz, I think.
Yeah, I think he's the other guy.
But Paul Rudd's not in this one.
Yeah, no, this is a different one. Yeah.
Okay.
So we got 2 movies, similar plots, but one's a romance and the other one's a bromance.
Sorry if I'm making sounds here.
Yeah, learn to use your mute button, dude.
There,
I have been. I thought it was on mute.
Professional.
Speaking of music movies, there's a Iron Maiden documentary coming out next week, I think.
There is, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
I would have liked to have seen them.
Nice. ActionCom says Sparks. What's that band in the? Wasn't that the band in the movie Roller Coaster? Yes.
Yes.
Dance in my
Sparks had a
pants.
documentary a few years back.
Yes, they did.
Their big hit was the Cool Places with Jane Wielden from the Go-Go's.
No, I was thinking about it. The better joke would have been, instead of Canadian joke, would have been like the geek bands, because all the bands that Paul mentioned are like bands that like geeks were. And the only thing he was missing was Devo.
I've seen Devo.
See,
You know what? One of the reasons I don't feel like I'm missing too much is that I think I went through 2 summers where I saw 50 bands, from Johnny Winter, Mountain. Oh my God, Steppenwolf, the Beach Boys. I mean, I just saw so many concerts. Was Iron Butterfly, the Turtles.
you might as well just call it Inagata Davida, because that's about all they have time to sing.
Yes.
No, good night.
It was a great time. Frank Zappa, Mahavishnu, John McLaughlin.
Frank Zappa would think would be very interesting to see live compared to his album stuff. I think he'd be probably more interesting live.
I happened to see the White album, the one with Flo and Eddie. That was, speaking of the Turtles, Flo and Eddie were the Turtles. But did I tell you how I got in to see Frank Zappa for free?
Is this going back to the you don't spit stuff earlier?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't spit stuff. No,
yeah,
no,
the spittoon.
No, you nasty person.
That's
no,
a good callback, though.
It is a good callback. Excellent. No, what happened?
He had some jams.
A guy who used to beat me up in high school, a big lug of a guy, one day came up to me and said, hey, you want to go see Frank Zappa? I went, yeah, but it's like tomorrow. I don't have tickets. He says, okay, go to Maple Leaf Gardens, go to this street corner and wait for me there. I went, tomorrow. I went, okay. So I went at the proper time, came down, and he came down with his friend. It was him, me, and his friend. And he
so that's 3 blowjobs. Jesus.
He had these 3, yeah. He had these 3 white sheets Okay, he said, okay, wait, put these on like you're an Arab. So I put them
Oh
over.
my God.
Come
I
on.
would put them on over top of our heads, and then he had these black elastic bands, which we then put on our,
This sounds like a skit from a movie.
I'm not joking. This is true story. And so we looked like, some people from, dudes from Saudi Arabia. We all had he gave us black plastic wraparound sunglasses. And he grabbed, he also had 3 paper cardboard guitar cases.
Oh, come
So
on.
we went to the artist entrance, dressed in these burnouses, looking like cheap Halloween Arabs, with these guitar cases under our arms, and we just walked through because it was the era of there was no real security per se. And they went, well, it's Frank Zappa. There's these 3 guys looking like Arabs with guitar cases. We'll just let them
They
walk
got to be
through.
with the band.
They got to be with the band. And we just walked in, dumped everything off to the side, scooched off into the darkness. And then when the lights came up, we just beat a path right to the front of the stage. And so we were like front stage for the whole whole concert.
That is the place to be in concerts. I mean,
That's
I'm
very
luckily,
cool.
like, I'm built like a linebacker, which is very practical when you're also an avid concert goer.
Sharif don't like it.
Coincidentally,
I would
my
love
garage band-
to have seen the Clash.
Oh yeah, I would love to.
And Joy Division with Ian Curtis before he offed himself.
What were you going to say, Chris?
I was just going to say, coincidentally, my garage band was called the Halloween Arabs. So that was
Wow.
Oh, Robert James Film says, not sure it's a biopic, but my favorite is Hacksaw Ridge. I think it is. I think it's
it is,
loosely
yeah.
based.
The
True
very
story.
first
Based on true story.
conscientious objector who won a Medal of Honor. Desmond Dodd.
I was very briefly in a band called, okay, wait for it, Crib Death.
Crib Death. Oh,
That
gruesome.
sounds like true Norwegian black metal.
That sounds like I was going to say.
black metal.
It didn't last long. We couldn't get booked for
Well,
some reason.
it died in the crib.
I mean, if we're talking great names for bands, I once saw a band named Carnage Asada.
Carnage.
Nice.
Asada.
Carnage Asada.
They were pretty good too, man.
Sounds like a dish.
Sounds like
It is a
yeah.
dish to play off the words. Carne
Yeah.
asada.
Willie the Monkey King is in the house. How you doing, Willie? Says,
Hey,
let's be
Willie.
real. Hollywood with the woke stuff was just trying to leech dollars from women and avoid Twitter backlash and assumed men would go along with it.
Well, that's
You're not
part
wrong.
of it. That's
Yeah.
part of it.
That's
But I
part of
think
it.
the bigger part, and Polly will correct me if I'm wrong here, so will everyone else. But I think a big part of it is that they allowed themselves to be fooled by bots on social media, thinking that was reality. That they genuinely thought this is what the audience want, because this is what's being fed to us in social media. And when Hollywood does something, they do it completely and they go blindly without really testing something. So they absolutely believed in social media. They thought this is reality. This is what people want. We're going to make so much money. All the financiers and people tell us, yeah, look at diversity, inclusion. Your movies are too white, not enough, like the world doesn't look like all this bullshit talking points. I think they genuinely believed in that for the most part. Maybe not everyone, but certainly the key decision makers. And then, of course, then they assumed that, oh, we do this, a whole new audience is going to spring up. Now something's going to be safe. Of course, we're going to keep every single one. No one's going to stop watching the movies that are watching them right now. It's all about inclusion. We're just adding more chairs to the table is what they thought.
Well, the stupidity of it is they acted like there's this whole sect of people that just weren't going to the movies, right? Like they forgot that they used to do things like blaxploitation, right? And other things that would actually work for a specific audience. Like that's what they used to do. They always knew that not every movie was going to play to every audience, but there were niche audiences that they could throw a movie out there and that niche audience would go see.
1 second there, Tom, because it's
Sure.
just an important thing. You said they did that. They never did. That was the previous batch of executives.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So the studios did, but that institutional memory was lost. That is there somewhere in the catalog. Maybe some coffee lady or something remembers, but the executives have a relatively short lifespan. They don't know the history of their studio, especially not in the age of social media. Then they're concerned with establishing their own legacy, doing things different, changing the way forward, doing things better, building back all that jazz, right? And that's a problem, because then they don't learn the lessons from history and they don't see what they used to do that worked. They only see what they used to do that worked, but suddenly has become problematic. And then they do everything to try to steer away from that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. And hopefully things like Michael and Devil Wear Prada will show that, because I'm happy to see the skewed demographic, because that's exactly like I said. This is the audience that they've been trying to pander to. This largely black and female audience is what Hollywood has been trying to win over for some reason that they think hadn't been going to movies before. It's like, oh yeah, they had. They just been going to movies just like everybody else. But if you do put something out there that does actually play towards a certain demographic, it will play better in that demographic. Now, even though Michael could have leaned more into the African-American aspect, that didn't fucking matter, because black people showed up to see the fucking movie in droves. Like, go look at half the clips out there online. This is like the Minecraft movie for black people. And I'm excited to see that. I'm glad to see that, because that's the kind of shit that's going to get people to go back into theaters, and that's what they want, is a reason to, because you got to give people a reason. What are the things that a theater offers that home doesn't? Because there's a lot of conveniences at home that you're going to have to overcome, especially with somebody like me who has a great surround sound system and a big TV and whatnot, and half the people on this panel or more do. Like, you got to give us a good reason to get off our butts to go see something on a big ass screen with a whole bunch of people. And right there, that's the one reason, is the whole bunch of people. It's a communal experience. And I think a lot of people are missing that. And I think that's what we saw with Minecraft, to a point with Barbenheimer, and now with Michael, is that you're seeing people go out there, not only that you're seeing the film, but they're celebrating the film. And these are good things to see, because that means it's popular with people. They're excited to see it. They're having a good time. They're not just rating this movie as a movie. They're rating it as an experience. And see, that's what the critics don't understand. And that's why we didn't quite understand Minecraft at first. And I was like, we're not supposed to. It's not made for us. This is their Ninja Turtles. This is their whatever you want to put on it. Because this is this generation's thing, to where this is a similar situation where it's like, you made a movie about somebody who is the biggest, arguably biggest pop star on the planet ever, who just happened to be black, and people went to see it because it was there, right? You made it. And you'll notice that if you continue to do these sorts of things and you start to actually make movies like you used to, and that's what I was getting at, is sometimes you're going to have a movie like The Wiz, where it's made for a certain demographic. But guess what? People are going to go see it regardless. And I don't remember people bitching about The Wiz back in the day. I remember asking Paul about that a couple of years ago, and he said the same thing that I knew, and that was that everybody was like, no, the only problem anybody had with The Wiz was, why the fuck is Diana Ross playing Dorothy? She's too fucking old.
That was it.
Because, ironically, Stephanie Mills played her on Broadway, and that's who Michael Jackson was dating at the time, which is even more weird that she didn't get the part in the film. Yeah. And I was reminded of that more recently. So, I mean, that was the controversy surrounding the movie. It wasn't the fact that they were making a black Wizard of Oz. Everybody was all for it. They loved the play. They're like, let's see it. Like, that's the kind of world we need to get back to. It's like, I don't have an issue with that. It's like, if you're going to do something, do it. Go all out. That's why I'm saying, let's see you do this. You want to do a gay this or a trans that or a black this or an Asian that? Then do it. Go all out of your way and fucking do it. Don't half-ass it. Don't try to shove it into something else that doesn't belong into. Because there's plenty of that already that exists. It was the same thing with Marvel. If they noticed that, okay, maybe we can get a little bit more of the black demographic in Marvel, instead of changing characters to black, just release Black Panther and Blade and other characters that you already have. Give Falcon his own movie instead of making him Captain America. Those things could have worked. And Black Panther was the proof of that. You put that out at the right fucking time for that movie. And I still stand by that, because it's not one of the better Marvel movies. It's really paint by number. It's pretty basic. But it was the timing of that movie that it came out. That is what happened, because it was the first black superhero in the Marvel Universe MCU. Not Blade, obviously. I know that came first, but that wasn't technically at that time attached to the MCU like it was now. So, but that being said, I know my rant is over. Anyway, you got your $8.99 New Zealand worth there, Willie. Anything else to add, anybody?
Anyone? Okay,
All right.
moving on.
Action Com says, was Yankee Doodle Dandy the first biopic about an entertainer? How does Michael compare to Yankee Doodle Dandy? I don't know. Did that come out before? When did Yankee Doodle Dandy come out?
James Cagney played George M. Cohan. Probably
42.
42 was it?
Yeah.
There was a couple of biopics in the 30s though. That's the thing.
I was gonna say.
So
I'm trying to remember when
as
the
far
one
as a
about
musical person, it might be the first one.
might be, yeah, because
oh
yeah, this was 57. Never mind.
No, the Cagney Yankee Doodle Dandy is like an old black and white film.
It is, but I was looking at the Man of 1,000 Faces because that's about
Lon Chaney.
Yeah, and that was 57 though.
Yeah, no. So as far as a musical biopic, it might be one of the first ones.
Well, let's just ask Google.
I want to say there were some biopics in the 30s.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Joan of Arc.
Joan of Arc.
Well, if we say based on history, if that's a biopic, I mean, there's tons of them. I mean, there's Napoleon, there's Rasputin.
You got Joan of Arc, Story of the Kelly Gang, the original Beethoven Moonlight Sonata.
Right. I was thinking of the Rasputin. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they have here in this story here. Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, Edgar Allan Poe movie, Life and Death of Pushkin, and all these are from the early 1900s, like before 1910. So there you go. But I guess those are the first biopics made. Joan of Arc, Kelly Gang. So I guess the Kelly Gang would probably be more like what we consider like a modern, biblical one or whatever. Origin of Beethoven. So there you go. That's another one. That would actually be the first right there. Your first musical biopic right there. The Origin of Beethoven.
Yeah, the origin of that's a proper origin story. Batman Begins got nothing on this. So yeah.
So that's probably it right there. But that's probably one of the more modern ones, I would imagine, Action Com. And that's kind of why I grabbed Man of 1,000 Faces, because that has all the same hallmarks, a lot of the modern ones too. Pilgrim Media then says, I went to the movies almost once a week in the 80s through the 2000s. Yeah, 2020s, I think he meant. Yeah. Same here for the most part, depending on the era, but yeah. Detail Devil says, Wall Street and Hollywood didn't switch Bob Evans for Weatherman. Trying to figure out what you mean here. Wall Street, old Hollywood didn't switch Bob Evans for Weatherman. Okay, Bob Evans compared to Bob Iger.
Weatherman, is that Bob Iger reference?
Yeah, it is. But Bob Evans, yeah. So Bob Evans was head of Paramount in the early 70s.
Oh, that Bob Evans, yes.
Yep. Responsible for like everything from The Odd Couple to The Godfather and so on, Chinatown, Rosemary's Baby, Love Story. Old Hollywood didn't switch Bob Evans for Weatherman. You're going to have to reinterpret this without sending in a super chat. Detail Devil, I'm not sure what you're trying to say here. I know you're limited on
characters.
So, but in the meantime, what was the other story we were going to touch on? Oh yeah, the
Django
Zorro story, because it looks like, and it says The Blessing of Tarantino. So Andre, you actually turned me on to this. I had no idea this existed until you told me.
Yeah, no, of course, Paul is also well aware of this. I'm sure we'll be talking about it on Tino Slant in half an hour here. But basically, yeah, for Dynamite, they had the license to do Zorro comics. And it is my understanding that Quentin Tarantino, he actually wanted to do a sequel to his Django Unchained featuring an elderly Zorro. Never got to make that movie, but he did have an outline, and that outline was turned into a comic for Dynamite. Is that about right, Paulie? I haven't researched that, but just grabbing from memory, I think that's roughly how it went down.
Yeah, you're talking about the comic, or what Brian Hedlund's going to do with the comic?
Yeah, with the comic that's already out there.
Right. So it's a continuation from the comic that Brian Hedlund's story is going to do. Remember, Brian Hedlund did LA Confidential, 42s, and some other great films as far as a screenwriter. He won the Academy Award for that. So you got a great writer, screenwriter, that's gonna take a shot at this. So it's got fast tracked.
Yeah, amazing. No, because it's I read it when it came. I haven't seen it. I read it when it came out. So I have to like reread it before I can comment in any kind of detail here. But yeah, this was a cool comic, and it's a comic that's then in the aftermath of Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained, and it's the comic, if memory serves, is built from an outline by Quentin Tarantino, which was then further developed into a comic book script by Matt Wagner, who was the regular writer on the Dynamite Zorro series, which, of course, I haven't read every single Zorro
I got to
comic
imagine
there ever was, but that was a pretty darn solid run.
I got to imagine QT was writing it for Rodriguez to direct with Antonio Banderas. That's my hunch. And this is what I was saying a while back, was I don't think Tarantino's going to stop making movies. I just think he's not going to direct. Because notice we got the Brad Pitt sequel coming out this fall.
Yeah.
And he gave his blessing to this. I think he's very interested, because believe it or not, if you listen to Tarantino talk, he loves sequels, knowing as bad as they are. Like, he talks up Jaws 2. Like, he'll talk about how he'll watch Jaws 2 tons more than he'll watch Jaws 1, just because it's so entertaining, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because he loves watching, that kind of shit. So I think he's interested in seeing other directors take on his material. I think he's very interested in seeing that.
Yeah, I think you're right. The comic was actually kind of a joint publication between Dynamite and a DC label called Vertigo, which has come and gone over the years. But they, because they've comics like Southern Bastards and things like that, which are coming out too, were also on Vertigo for a time. But this is, I read it. I've got the hardcover edition of this. It was 7 issues because, at the end of Django Unchained, Django's a bounty hunter, basically, and runs into Zorro, and they have some adventures together. It's actually pretty cool. And Tarantino, you're right, Wagner wrote it, and Tarantino outlined it, but was a little more involved than just saying, yeah, you can use this character. But Tom, you made the point that he really didn't even come up with the Django character, right?
Well, it's complicated.
Okay.
Because Django is another Western character.
Yeah.
Yes. Italian
Western character. But his Django is a different character, but also I can't remember how he explained it. It's like, I guess kind of like, I don't remember if he said it like this, but this is the best way I can kind of explain what I remember how he was getting to it. It's almost like James Bond, right? Yeah. Like there's different Djangos throughout time. They're just kind of like the man with no name kind of thing. And this one just happens to be Jamie Foxx is set in this period, right? So it is a Django movie, but it's kind of like Django's more of it's not just the name of the character. It's kind of I don't remember how he put it, but like, yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah. We're completely honest. It's a different interpretation of the classic Italian Django movies, in which Django is a black man. That's right. What it is. It is something that if it had come out today, it would have been attacked relentlessly, because we've had way too much of that, because it would be another race bent reboot. But because it came out when it did, it was awesome. Not enough, and very few people today, certainly in America, are familiar with the original Django movies.
And if I remember right, there's technically only one Django movie, and then another movie that Franco Nero made that they just slapped the name on, if I remember right. And that's kind of where I think Tarantino was going with that. Is it's just kind of like,
speaking of going, Mr. Chato.
Yes, I was just going to say,
going. Yeah.
Yes,
so,
I have to go back to work. There's going to be an appalling news, lots of appalling news coming out today. I did want to mention one Tarantino film that no one talks about, and that is Dogma.
That's Kevin Smith.
I know, but Kevin Smith wouldn't have made it unless he saw Pulp Fiction.
he saw Pulp Fiction,
and he had never realized he could make a movie episodic and that crazy and that energized until he saw the Tarantino film, and that's what inspired him to rewrite his script and make it like a Tarantino film. And if you watch Dogma, it really very much is.
Yeah, because initially it was supposed to be more comedic and more
Well, it's still pretty funny.
kind of like more like
yeah,
a
and
Woody
it's
Allen
also
play.
the best movie of Kevin Smith, of
Ever.
Matt Damon,
Ever.
and of Ben Affleck all at the same time.
Ever. It is.
Hell, even of George Carlin.
I don't know about Affleck, but okay, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, listen.
And Damon, I don't know.
Thank you very much, everyone. As always, thank you for having me on board. I have to go away and spit. But other than that,
Got to empty the spittoon.
I got to empty the spittoon. So I got to get back to work. I am a captain of industry. I do have websites to develop.
Well, thank your wife for letting you.
I always thank my wife. And I will see you. I'll see you on Friday, I guess.
Friday
Yeah,
sounds good.
perfect. Look forward to it.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Thanks for having me.
So yeah, so I'm interested in this. I can't wait to see it. I hope Antonio Banderas is involved. And of course, obviously Jamie Foxx will likely be involved.
Yeah. That option is on the table because that comic is not the sequel to the movie Zorro, but to the comic Zorro that Matt Wagner was writing. But of course, for a movie version, obviously you would want Banderas.
And that's why I said it was probably initially kind of an idea that Tarantino had for
probably, which is why
Rodriguez,
it was a significantly older Zorro.
And I was just going to get to that's exactly the point I was going to get to, because, and I think that's where it would play out well to have Antonio play Zorro, because my memory from skimming through the story is it is an older Zorro. So yeah. It's basically, and the thing with Django is I think in the original films he was a bounty hunter, or the original film at least he was a bounty hunter already. So I believe the thing here with Tarantino, that was the other thing he said, is like, this is this one's origin story, this Django's origin story as to how he became a bounty hunter, if that makes sense. Because the original Django movie, when he shows up, he's already been fucked up, and he's got that, he's dragging along that coffin of fucking guns and shit.
Wrecked and everything, yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, I like the original Django, but that second one you're talking about, I think that was just another movie that he had made, and they just slapped the name Django on it. It's just because it was close enough or whatever. But yeah. Anyway, that being said, that will be interesting. So looking forward to that.
I like the idea of Tarantino sort of expanding, doing the comic books, letting some of the stuff he's made be turned into sequels, like what you mentioned with the Brad Pitt movie on Netflix. And so many things that he's done that he necessarily didn't direct, I've enjoyed. True Romance, for instance, which I think Tony Scott directed.
Yep. But he does consider that one of his films, but yeah.
He does? Okay.
Kind of, yeah. It's the only movie he's ever done an audio commentary for. He's never even done any for his.
That's interesting. And of course, he says he has these great ideas for sequels to, not sequels, but like a Star Trek movie. Wouldn't that be fantastic? If
I want to see that as a comic. I'm like, I can't believe they haven't done that yet.
Oh, that would be a great idea. I wonder if Paramount.
I know. I can tell you why. Well, there's probably two reasons. One,
because it might still happen.
That's the big one, and the other, it's what's the name of the comic book company?
IDW.
IDW. And what's the woman in charge of that? Because the Star Trek comics went to hell. The moment
Heather Antos.
Heather Antos, yes.
Exactly. Heather Antos. That's the second thing. You think that she's going to allow that script to come out without transing it from here to heaven?
Too much toxic masculinity, for sure.
Honestly, I think that's part of the reason that Tarantino has kind of shied away from doing so much more, because remember how much shit he got when he did Django. Because guys, remember that movie has the most N-words of any movie in history. And there was a lot of people that were pissed.
Well, didn't he?
No, there was a lot of people in the press that were coming after him about it. That's where the I reject your hypothesis came from, Andre. Because that one
No, I think
critic
that was for Hollywood not letting.
Oh, that was,
Margot-
you're right. But there was a lot of people that took him to task for using the N-word. And that's where, okay, so that's the one where Samuel Jackson said, no, I gave him permission, or I said he's fine because he knows how to use it, or something like that. He said,
Tarantino's mom dated black guys when
all
he was growing
throughout
up.
her.
I mean, that's the
Yes.
whole-
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's just been part of his upbringing.
He basically, if you read his book, and I recommend this to anybody who likes his movies, obviously, if you're not a Tarantino fan, you're not going to like it. Because the audiobook version's great because he actually does the audio version of it. But his cinema speculation book, what Chris is talking about is basically that whole book is about his experience of getting into cinema. And he had basically one or two main father figures that happened to be black. And he grew up around a lot of black people because his mom dated basically exclusive black men for the most part. So like, and he barely knew his own dad at all. Right. So like, and he has like this insight to it that I don't think people understand. And I'm not saying it gives him necessarily a pass, but I think that's where Samuel Jackson was coming from, is like, no, he kind of understands this more than most people do.
Yeah, that book is, you're right. Cinema Speculation came out in 2020.
Great book. And I think he's doing a sequel to it now too.
Oh, I didn't know
He's been kind of hinting at like my next book. He keeps talking about that because he's like, he said somebody hasn't decided if it's going to be just this or if it's going to be like a certain like the same thing he did in Cinema Speculation, because that's literally like almost every weekend he went to basically these movies every weekend, and then he's picked specific films that imprinted upon him, and that's what each chapter is, one of these films. So it's a really cool book actually, and I found a couple movies I'd never even heard of.
Yeah, I love books like that. I need to check that out, the audio version. I loved Robert Evans' book, The Kid Stays in the Picture. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Oh, fuck yes, I got the documentary too. Well, Evans is like a god for producers. And
he's in that movie that TV show, The Offer. If anybody hasn't seen that Godfather show series on Paramount, The Offer, I don't think he's as well played, but he's in that movie, that show.
It's from one point of view of it, but yes, like, and that's one of my favorite biopic-ish type things. I mean, of course, they couldn't get so deep into, but if you kind of watch The Kid Stays in the Picture as kind of a counterpiece, it kind of gives you a better idea of who Evan was.
By the way,
yeah. But all right, so I'm looking forward to this. Paulie, anything to say about this before? Or I know you're going to be talking about this in a little bit. So
yeah, we're going to be talking about it on the other live stream. I just have a lot of questions. Namely, who's going to direct, who is going to star.
I'm willing to put some money on Robert Rodriguez is going to direct.
So, and I have problems with that.
Do you?
Yeah. So
Interesting.
I know we want to wrap it up, but yeah, definitely. I think Brian Heglin's an incredible screenwriter, though. I'm a big fan of his work, so that's good. And but they're really gonna have to let whoever directs this, they can't censor the person.
I think it's got the protection of Tarantino too, so
I hope so, man.
I'm sure it does. Barry the Music Man says, happy birthday to my Fred Reb Brown, 78 years old. Didn't know it was his birthday today. Well, happy birthday, Reb Brown.
Happy birthday indeed.
Glade Ribbon says, nothing specific, just want to say I love the passion of the panelists. Need to use the super chat before the end of the month. Well, there you go, Glade Ribbon. You did.
Oh, that's one way.
Speaking of, we need to do a member stream soon, Andre.
We do. It's coming inside a week for sure.
Okay, Soul Nightmare says the Lanterns teaser is back up, minus the State Trooper lyrics. It will premiere August 16th following the House of Dragons season 3 finale. So what was the deal with that? I never caught what that was all about, because they pulled the trailer down and it had something to do with, was it a song or something that was in the trailer, or what's the deal here? Anybody know?
That probably was the real reason, that there was a song that was cleared, but that wasn't properly cleared. But of course, most people ran to the explanation that they took it down because people hated it, which I don't think was the case at all.
Again, I'm not as up to speed on this specific one, so yeah, he says copyright. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Or did they get a copyright claim from YouTube? That'd be hilarious if that was the case.
Probably that was the case.
It was a remixed version of State Trooper, a Bruce Springsteen song. I think they didn't get the clearance for.
Exactly.
Oh, and Springsteen's bad.
Yeah.
It's just like, And this is
Well,
what
you know,
Andre and I,
I thought he sold his catalog, and I think it's the people who
Sony
Then
owns
it's,
it now, don't they?
then it's the company, because that's why they buy catalog. They buy
Yep.
it
Yeah, right.
specifically so that they can monetize it. And a studio like DC forgets to get all the T's crossed and I's dotted. Catching baby. That's why they buy his catalog in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, well, this started mainly a lot with like Michael Jackson when he bought half the music in the industry,
Yeah.
that big sale.
Yeah.
And they've been trying to get their hands on that ever since. And I'm not going to get down that road, but yeah, it's a similar thing. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that's probably was the case, I would bet, because Springsteen and because Andre and I had been just talking about this with the whole Michael thing about how some of these artists have kind of ruined their legacy by not allowing their music to be listened to. The Eagles is even known among, kids and stuff, that the Eagles are shit for copyright. So if they know the Eagles, all they know about them is that they're assholes.
Yeah.
Right. So that's not good.
Yeah.
Right. So you have a lot of these bands, Bryan Adams and some other ones that are horrible. Like Bryan Adams' company is so bad that my buddy Fanzine did a video on the fact that you cannot find the music video for Everything I Do It For You with the footage from basically the Robin Hood version. You cannot find it anywhere online. It has been pretty much scrubbed from the internet. And he did a video talking about that because he found that was hilarious because it's actually on the home video from back in the day. He didn't even show anything of it, but because he was talking about it, Bryan Adams' company went and struck that video. He finally got it all worked out, and it took a while. But that's how bad they are with this shit. And that's where I was saying with Andre, that's why certain groups or certain people and groups like, Michael Jackson and others that have allowed their music to be out there, or the estates have allowed their music to be out there, they have gotten a lot more audiences. Fleetwood Mac, some of the other ones. But Led Zeppelin's starting to get to a point where a lot of kids don't really know who they are anymore because their music's tightly, wound up. Same thing with Eagles and some of these other groups. I mean, it's like, that's one of the main reasons why Elvis did so well, is because his music's all over the place. And I seen the head of TikTok said the same kind of thing about Michael this last weekend, was that he was generally in the top 3 artists that people use on TikTok videos. And he's probably number 1 this week because he popped up again on the charts in Spotify. Seeing these guys who don't let their stuff out, that's the problem.
Prince was the same way. If you had a video of this before he died and before his family took over the estate, but I remember a woman had filmed her little girl dancing to Let's Go Crazy, a little 4-year-old, copyright strike, and it was like, of course that happens to anybody now.
Yeah. Now, didn't he back off, or if not, it was when his estate took over.
When his estate took over, they backed off. Because I was going
to say, if it wasn't for that, he would be kind of the same point.
He was. Yeah, he was. He was trying to control, and I don't blame them necessarily, especially the way he felt he got burned, which is why he changed his name to a symbol right at one time. But there was a song called The One, which is a great song if you ever have a nice lady friend in your life that you want to share it with. You could not find that on YouTube anywhere. Now you can finally find the music video out there in SD version, by the way.
It's only specific artists too, so it's not always necessarily, so it's whatever artists still have some kind of sway or say over their music.
Mm-hmm.
So I do remember the Prince thing, and I believe that saved his legacy. Sadly, was after he passed away, they did allow his music to be out there and used, because I do remember, even on YouTube, it was difficult to even do cover songs. Yeah, stuff like that. So, but let's see what the audience is saying. We got this one right, and then we got D-Bud, who's been here for 60 freaking months. That's got to be some sort of record.
5 years.
Yeah. Valentine Puppy says, Tom, my DM on X about Motu and my opinion. Sorry, Tom, I just want to help and do something. I don't matter at all. Have a lot to say. Oh, no, I got your message, buddy, and I can't wait to hear what y'all have to say about it too, because I'm curious what other people are going to think. I know I have a lot of thoughts already, and I'm curious how it's going to turn out. So, absolutely.
We have a running time, by the way, for the movie.
Do we? How long?
Really?
Yeah. It disappeared from my screen here, but it was like 2 hours, 16 minutes. Something
Jesus,
like
that's bullshit. If Motu is 2:16 and Michael's only 2.
Come on.
But no, Valentine Puppy, I'm going to be very curious at what everybody thinks about the film. Go ahead and send me your video. I appreciate it. I haven't been doing a lot of personal stuff right now just because Mead's been demonetized and I'm on strike. and because I'm not even 100% sure. This is okay. So this is kind of some inside baseball. I'm not even 100% sure if I start a new channel, it's going to matter. Because if you haven't noticed that YouTube is just going batshit crazy right now, even all of like Drunk 3PO's channels are getting demonetized.
It's the AI. It's out of control.
I'm not even sure if starting a new channel is going to make a difference at this point. I'm going to try and do my best because I got one message finally from somebody at YouTube. So I've gotten one step farther than I have before, even though they did not accept my 90-day appeal. So I'm hoping to get one more shot at this. And I got a few people who are trying to talk to people behind the scenes in my behalf. So thank you to those who are like Yellow Flash and whatnot, and trying to get something done with this because it's like a lot of people, I think, like, it's not their fault. I think some people just kind of forgot that I was demonetized too, because it's been so long, it's been half a year now. And that's a half a year that I've been fighting with them, just trying to get somebody to pay attention. That's not a fucking AI. So I hope sooner or later they get this sorted out. I really do. And at that point, maybe I won't have to have started a whole new channel, but we'll see. So, yeah. But with that, Andre, I think we had covered pretty much everything we were going to cover today, did we not?
Yeah, we do. So everyone be sure to, actually just stay exactly where you are as this stream redirects to the Latino slant. But before we get there, Chris, anything that you want to plug?
I'm just glad to be here today. The news, all the news that's fit to squeeze into Bleeding Fool is still at bleedingfool.com. I appreciate all we've seen a real uptick in the comment section. So get over there. I know you guys probably already know this, but Favreau was discussing how Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger forced him to change the Mandalorian Grogu movie was just to be season 4. And so he had to retool everything for the movie. Some complaints about that, a little more insight on the Highlander reboot. And we've got a feature story on Punisher creator Jerry Conway. Check it out over at bleedingfool.com.
Definitely probably going to have to check out that stuff with Favreau, because I heard him say some things, but I don't remember him mentioning Bob and Kathy at all.
Well, it's implied.
Oh, implied. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And the Highlander thing, I'm interested in, so can't wait. Paulie, I know you got a show coming up here, and I think Andre and even myself might even pop in there. We'll see. What's going on?
Yeah. Stone Cold Loki's going to join us, Postage.
I ain't talked to him in a while.
Starting in a minute, we're going to go over the Zorro stuff. Then we got video from Danny Trejo, Gene Simmons from the red carpet. It's hilarious. And some other pop culture stuff. So come on by.
Sweet. I will try and pop in too. So
yeah, brother.
This, I am assuming, is going to redirect to that.
There is a redirect. So
all
just
right.
Stay where you are, and you'll be taken straight to the Latino slant.
And Mark's 47 has also been here for 60 months. So there you go.
Awesome.
Wow. Congratulations. Thank you. So with that, take care of yourselves and each other. And as Andre says,
time to bring on the koalas in the rain.
Hope to see you on the slant.
Koalas in the rain. Koalas in the rain. No fucks given. Koalas in the rain.